Welcome to John S. Sports Channel, where we have Bristol City versus Sheffield United today. Yes, we are in with the Championship playoff predictions. We're going to give you the kick-off time, the team news, the head-to-head odds, and we're going to just give you at the start how did they get there and how did we come to this amazing game, Bristol City versus Sheffield United, for a chance to be playing in the Premier League next season. Please do like and subscribe. Please do stay tuned because I'm going to give you Bristol City versus Sheffield United. Let's just go with what happened on that final day. This was an amazing final day for the Championship, wasn't it? Absolutely amazing, top and bottom end. But at the top end, this is what we're concentrating on at the minute. Bristol City 2-0 down against Preston, and they had to come back to get a point. 2-2, really dramatic late push to try and get something out of it, to get back into that sixth slot. They had lost it at one point, and yeah, they must have been really worried, the fans, that they just lost it at the very last few minutes of the season. Fortunately for the Bristol City fans, the Robins managed to get that 2-2 draw, and they managed to get that sixth slot at the top. Of course, they had to wait for Blackburn's draw away at Bramall Lane to be absolutely ensured that nobody could overtake them. One goal would have tipped them out of it at that point. Sheffield United, of course, almost guaranteed that third slot, so it became what we've got now, basically, which is the Bristol City Sheffield United playoff game. So let's have a look at what the game is in particular. It's Bristol City versus Sheffield United, scheduled for 8 o'clock kickoff on Thursday, 8th of May. So we'll all be glued. We'll all be glued to the radio, and we'll all be glued to what's happening down there. And I hope that the fans all have a really good day and enjoy themselves, because this is going to be, I think, one of the best games of the playoff race up there in the Championship. Certainly for me, this is the game to be watching. So for Bristol City, they suffered no extra injuries, thank heavens, in the game against Preston, but Luke McNally and Mark Sykes will miss the entire playoff campaign, I'm afraid. Cameron Pring is still doubtful after missing the final game of the season with a hamstring complaint. So overall, not got too many issues. However, we go on to Sheffield United. Chris Wilder's team selection against Blackburn showed that he had the eye on one or two injuries that they've had for quite a while, and of course they're looking at certain handing different roles to different players in that Sheffield United squad. I think the choice of players in that final day, of course, was quite a little bit obvious, I suppose. Goalkeeper Michael Cooper was rested, and of course Alfie Gilchrist given a rare start, and actually, they'd got their eyes on the playoffs at that point, knowing that they were going to be in it and not wanting to injure players during the game. So that was quite understandable, I think. Tom Davies got minutes, so following an injury. So you're obviously trying to bring people across, bring people over, get people fit with 1 or 2 minutes, rest others. It was a game for Sheffield United to try and make sure that they didn't injure the ones that were fit, to try and bring on a few players that could just get a little bit extra fitness from a couple of minutes on the pitch, and of course, like the goalkeeper, rest key players that you really don't want to be injuring in the last game when it's actually got no meaning to the club as far as points or position is concerned. It's likely that Cooper will return to the starting lineup. Of course, you rested him so that you can bring him back and play alongside the likes of Harrison Burrows, Jack Robinson and Tyrese Campbell. Of course, they have got a few injuries. They have had a few injuries for a long time, and Chris Wilder's mentioned that constantly, especially when they went out of the cup back then when they got knocked out of that. He mentioned that they've got a few injury worries back then, and I don't think that they've fully got over those injuries, which is possibly why that squad just drained a little bit towards the end, and that playoff automatic slot just became a little bit too out of reach, didn't it, after the Burnley defeat? What will happen here then? Because we've got this problem, haven't we? Sheffield United have been getting a little bit jaded, but they've been steadily getting poorer and poorer. And Chris Wilder's been saying this is mainly because of fitness levels and because of people being injured and out of the team. I would see this as a test of his skills. Can he make the most of what they've got? I think he can. I think that, they have had a poor time, hopefully resting the goalkeeper and making sure that we don't stress and strain certain players is absolutely the understandable thing that they've done. On the other hand, you've got Bristol City, and Bristol City couldn't do that. They had to put their best team out that they'd got, and it's quite likely that Bristol City team will indeed be playing almost the same team if they can. And I don't think there's been any injuries as we know of, so I should expect a similar team in the Sheffield United game. So let's just have a quick look at what we think will happen here. We've got Bristol City on the up, remember. We've got Sheffield United slightly on the down. So they're meeting each other. Obviously, I think the better team here. If we went at the beginning of the season, the first game, we'd be saying that Sheffield United should win this pretty easily. However, we've got to look at the form, and the form here is actually topsy-turvy, isn't it? Sheffield United aren't doing that well. Bristol City are really doing exceedingly well. So what do we think as we go into Bristol City Sheffield United prediction? So we have Bristol City Sheffield United 8 p.m. kickoff Thursday the 8th of May. Also, Bristol City last six, their form is win, draw, win, lose, lose, draw. A really valiant comeback there, though, against Preston North End. Something that I've seen Bristol City capable of, and certainly capable of in the last few games. They've done it in the last game. Whereas Sheffield United lose, win, draw. A really stale draw, I thought, against Blackburn. The two wins against Stoke City and lowly Cardiff. They've not been pulling up any trees. They've not been going behind and really fighting back like we know that Sheffield United side can do. Whereas Bristol City have. I look at this and most people are indeed saying this is going to be a draw. However, I think that Sheffield United very well may go into the lead here. And I think that this Bristol City side is more than capable of getting those fans egged on and riled up so that they can pull that team back into it. I think that we very well might see a Bristol City side fight back here against a rather poor Sheffield United side in the first leg. I think that we may see Bristol City 2, Sheffield United 1, with Sheffield United going into the lead. Back in Sheffield United, at Sheffield at the Blades ground, I think Bramall Lane will be rocking. They'll be expecting to get back there. However, if we look at the stats between these two clubs, it's by no means one-sided, is it? Because we have Bristol City with 10 wins. We have Sheffield United with 21 wins and 6 draws. At the minute, it's looking very much like most of the bookmakers are going to be going with Sheffield United. However, because of the form recently, I think that the second game may be a little bit closer than what we believe. I think that we may see a draw, and we may see a Bristol City 1, Sheffield United 1, which means that we would get a 3-2 win for Bristol City. So I'm going for an aggregate win. Bristol City 3, Sheffield United 2. Let's just end with what those bookmakers are actually saying, because the odds have now started to filter in. Bristol City are 17-10. Sheffield United are, 17-10, and a draw is 21-10. So they're believing one of the sides is going to win, but they're not quite sure which one it is. I'm going to go with Bristol City. I think that Bristol City at home should be able to muster a pretty good fight back here, and believe me, I do believe Sheffield United are still, even in a jaded condition, slightly better starters than Bristol City, as was proven in that final game for Bristol. And I think they will go ahead, absolutely, but I think that Bristol City just have that ability for me. That was a phenomenal fight back, I thought, and a really enjoyable game. Thank you, Bristol, for a great game there. And I hope that you've enjoyed my predictions video for the Championship playoff game between Bristol City Sheffield United. If you have, give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next prediction video. Thank you very much. Remember, join us at Sports Channel. Like and subscribe.